Hi, Erin here, and I'm so happy to have you all join us and welcome Melissa and Stephanie, who are the experts. Again, I'm just always here, not even the pretty face amongst us, but I'm always one here, and I just happen to make these great connections with like pros. And today we've got the pros of Cami, Melissa and Stephanie, and they're going to show us the ins and outs of Cami. So if you joined us last week, looked at Cami with another software, and now I was like, I just need to know more about Cami itself. I've played with it more this year, and then how we can use it in a capacity to take place of Jamboard that we are so sad that's leaving us. So thank you, Melissa and Stephanie, and I'm going to let y'all take it away from here.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much for that introduction. I am Melissa. I'm Melissa Summerford. I'm a teacher success champion here at Cami. Been in education myself for 15 years and did a little bit of everything, but mainly elementary teacher, which I love the littles. They're my favorite. So I'm excited to get started here with my partner, Stephanie.
Hi, everyone. Stephanie Howell here, and I love presenting with Melissa. We connected during the COVID year, and we just had like the same vibe going with presentations, only I'm not as sparkly.
What? You were so fast. Like, you got those things done. I was like, I'm going to be partners with Stephanie.
So me and Melissa make a great team. So we're really excited to kind of talk about jamming with Cami today. And if you stick around, there might be a coupon code for you.
That's right. And you'll want to stick around to the end so you can grab that, so you can test it out. So let's go ahead and get started. So jamming with Cami. Let's talk about what Cami is. Now, you might have heard about Cami before. I hope you have. If you haven't, that's okay, because I'm here to tell you about it. So what you can do, just imagine taking your PDFs or your slides or your Google, your Microsoft Forms, and bringing them into the Cami environment. You can really bring that to life. It's just not about just highlighting anymore. You can add, if you notice, you can add voice notes on to the document. You can highlight, you can mark it up. There are so many things and benefits to having Cami in your classroom that they're going to be great accessibility tools for your students. So today's agenda, what we want to discuss today, we're first going to talk about Jamboard blues. So what can we say, ladies, or Stephanie, about Jamboard blues? We know it's going away, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely shocked when I heard the news. And when I started to look at just how can we replace this in the classroom, one thing that I just know that teachers absolutely loved about Jamboard was there weren't as many tools available for our littles or even junior high students.
Right. You're right. You're right. That is exactly true.
Yeah, like you go to Google Slides and you can do all of these different things. And some students, a lot of students, even adults, if I'm doing like a session with adults in Google Slides, it's a distraction. So that was like one of like the big things that I heard about teachers and their love for Jamboard was that the tools were limited, and it was a really great collaborative kind of whiteboard for our students.
That's right. But teachers make it all work all the time, no matter how many tools. Like, we're always figuring ways to make it work for our students, no matter how many we have access to. So we're excited to talk about how you can use Cami as your new whiteboard. If you haven't tried it, I hope we convince you by the time this session is over. So we're going to dive into Cami. So we're going to get you in. We're going to do some collaborating together. We'll look at classroom templates, and then we'll give you some handy resources that you can take and quickly use with your students. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we want to talk about is the importance of installing that extension. You can get it from the Chrome store, and if you notice, when you get into this presentation or this document, I'm going to walk you through it, and we're going to look at some of those features together. But notice anytime that you hover over and you see anything turn yellow, that is a clickable link. So if you don't have the Cami extension, you can grab it from the Chrome web store for Google Chrome and for Microsoft Edge. Some of the benefits to having that, number one, is, let me take you to my Google Drive. What you can do, you'll notice in my Google Drive, I have slides. I have PDFs. I also have Word, Google Docs as well. So any of these things, I don't have to go out and find another tool that's going to transfer those into a PDF, because Cammie's going to do that for me. Number one, if I'm looking at something in my Google Drive, if I click on the three dots here, I can go and select annotate with Cammie. That's going to bring it into the Cammie environment. This is what I'm talking about, because if I click into that document here, let's go into this playlist that I want to do for my students. Now, I can, yeah, you might say, Melissa, but you can just give it to them and slide. Yes, I can. But what's going to happen is Cammie is going to lock some of these features here. It's going to flatten it. Actually, this presentation we're sharing with you was actually a Google slide. So do you see at the top where it says open with Cammie? That's what you'll get if you have this extension. So when I click on that, what's going to happen? It's going to tell me it needs to convert this file. You'll notice I have all of these. That means I'm just opened it before. So if I needed to make an update to this particular one, I can just click on that and it will update it from my slide. But I'm going to convert to new. So once I convert to a new document, it's going to magically make it a PDF and lock those things in the background. And there it is. Now I can continue building and get this activity ready for my students. So just know that if I click around, look, nothing, they can't delete anything, that is the main reason I love using that and bringing all of my activities into the Cammie environment. Now going back, let's go ahead and dive into this Cammie document so you can experience some of those tools that you can use for your students here. So how I'm going to share this with you. This is really neat how you can instantly share a Cammie document with others. So this is one way you can do it. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to go up to my toolbar, and notice you'll see this right here where it says share document. When I select share document, it's going to give me access to my Google sharing. If you're Microsoft, it's going to do it in Microsoft. It's a little bit different in Microsoft than it is in Google, but let's talk about how this is going to work for us today. Now, you'll notice it's going to come in restricted. Now, my domain, this is the best practice when you are sharing with students. You're going to do it in your domain. Mine's Notable PDF. Yours is going to say your ISD. You'll want to make sure you select editor. But for us, I'm going to do anyone with the link. Now, notice what's going to happen. It's going to say anyone with the link. I want you to be an editor because you get to go in and we get to collaborate together. If I just gave you viewing rights, you won't be able to do anything. So let's choose editor, and notice this right here, the control features. Now, this is the best. I think it's the best only because, watch this. Now, you want to think about, what tools do your students need? You'll notice I have all these tools up here. Sometimes for youngers or even the olders. I mean, I have a high school student. I mean, sometimes he acts like he's in elementary, and sometimes you need to control those features. Let's go into control features. Now, when I'm in the feature controls, you're going to notice it's basically asking me, what tools do you want to give your students? I can turn them all off. I can turn them all off, or I can choose to select certain tools. So I always select the select tools because I want my students to be able to move around. The dictionary, great for accessibility, the read aloud. Now you'll go through and you'll select what tools are best for that assignment. I'm going to keep them all on for us, but it is super duper easy to turn them on and off during the lesson. You could always go back to the feature controls and select and change them up as the lesson's progressing. If I go down to the bottom here, you'll see copy and paste. You can decide to leave these on and off. I mean, come on. Like with ChatGPT, we might want to turn this off, but I'll leave it on for you. You're adults. You struggled. You already know how to write. So we'll leave that on. If you want to copy and paste, you can, but not our students. So I'm going to select Remember Me because it's going to remember my options. And then I'm going to select OK because that is my save button. Okay, it's taken all of those. This is my link. Now, you can use the QR code to share it. So maybe as students come in as they're due now, you can share that. Or what I would do is we would copy this and put it in the chat. Now, what I'm also going to do too for our presentation, I'm going to use the text box here and I'm just going to paste it in this area right here. Now, one thing I want you to know is Cami creates its own unique URL to that document. And when you type this in, it doesn't have to be uppercase, lowercase. It's not case sensitive. So you just type it in exactly the way it is. So I've been in districts where I've used like shortcuts and shorteners and I've been blocked. So ours is not. So go and use ours. I know it's got a lot of letters, but it works. I promise. So I am going to So this is what I need you to do. I need you, if you're watching with us today, I'd love for you to type this in. We can also drop this into the chat. Oh, it looks like my friends are already active and they already got it. So we'll drop it in the chat for you to join because I'd love for you to comment with us. Okay, now we're going to dive in. We're going to dive into this think tank right here. And this is what I want you to be thinking about. Now, you have all the tools. Now, this is what I would not do. I would not give all my kids the tools right away. I would give them as we needed. But I want you to think about what types of phones have you used in the past? So I want you to be thinking. I mean, we're probably going to give our age. We're going to give our age. Oh, look, I see friends coming in. As I notice, as you look at the bottom, you can see what collaborators you have coming into the Cami document. This is really cool because your students are going to be accountable for what they put into the document because you'll be able to track them and see what information they are doing. And as you hover over those names, over those initial circles, you're going to see the names. I can see I have Stephanie and I have Erin and I have 3 people in. Oh, I even have more. I have Olivia. I have, let's see, I have several people in this document. So let's go ahead and get started. So what I want to do here is I want to go to my Add Media tool. And as I'm thinking about like phones I have used in the past, I can go to Add Media. I can pull in from my computer, from the camera, from Google Drive, from Google. I'm going to choose Google Image Search. So here I go. All right, so here we go. About to tell my age. I'm about to tell my age. So we are going to look at these. Who remembers this? Oh my gosh. Like, don't you dare make a mistake because you were starting all over. My grandma used to have a yellow one and I used to go and talk. I made friends where my grandma lived. So I'd go use her phone. And gosh, if you made a mistake, you had to start dialing over. So I'm going to go ahead and put, let's see, which one can we put? I don't have I'll do this one right here because this is just like it. So I'm going to go insert image. Oh, look, someone already beat me to it. So there it is. I've got it in there. I'm going to go ahead and drop it. Now, it's a little bit too big, but no worries because you can use our tools to adjust. So there it is. I'm going to adjust my phone there. I mean, phones have come a long way. Now you can do like so many things on your phone now. It's amazing. Now, you notice those coming in. Now, as I hover over those, look, I can tell exactly who is putting in that information. And as the owner of the document, I can also delete those. Students will not see that trash can there. So if I have a student that puts in an image that's inappropriate, I can just do delete. And look, it tells me this annotation was created by another user and it will be deleted. I can hit delete and it's gone from all of the students' devices. And I can do undo and bring it right back as the owner of the document. But students, they won't see that trash can. They cannot delete other students' information, which I think is really awesome because they can accident. It's an accident. It's an accident. So you don't have to worry about that when you're collaborating in Cami because it's there and it will not be gone unless you delete it or the student deletes it. I mean, let's talk about this phone. One of the first cell phones, y'all. Like, do you remember this, Tiffany? Let's see. Did you put this in? Who put this in? Well, I can go and see who put it in on there, and it is Stephanie.
Put it in. Hopefully, it's not showing my age.
Right? Oh my gosh, these phones. I had a friend down the street. He used to carry a bag phone. I mean, when the bag phones were in, like it was cool just to show, but could you really use it? No, because it cost like $1 a minute. It was some outrageous amount that we were not going to use because it was too expensive. So it was mainly for show back in the day, I think. My biggest technology was the answer machine. Now that's something. All right, nice. So you can see all of your students and what they're doing. Now, another place you can see, if you go up to this toggle slide bar here, and you click on this little annotation summary, you're going to see where your students contributed on that document, and it's going to take you straight to them. So you have ways of showing, where did my students show their thinking? You're going to have that with those features there. All righty, I'm going to hand it over to Stephanie, and we are going to look at classroom templates for you to use.
Yeah, and one of my blues when it came to Jamboard was like a real blue when we knew they weren't going away, was that students could delete each other's. And so it's really exciting that Cami has that ability that it's a collaborative document. Students cannot delete each other's work.
Say it one more time for the back of the room.
Only the teacher and the creator can delete the image. And there were so many times where I remember, I'm like, this is going to be a great activity. I'm so excited to do this with my students. First class, I taught 3 classes. First class, I'm never doing this again because there was that one kid that just deleted everything. And
right?
That kid ruined the entire activity for everyone else. And so I gave up, right? Like I was like, I am not doing this Jamboard activity again. But then when I found Cami, I was like, they can't delete each other's work. What? You know?
Yeah, it's amazing. So
then I wasn't afraid to do collaborative activities because there's something about when someone deletes my work, I feel devalued, right? Like I don't feel heard, I don't feel seen. And what I was seeing in my own classroom, and this might have been me, is that students were deleting each other's work and not having a conversation about what needed to be improved, what needed to be added to that response to make it stronger, why it was not in the correct place, why it was deleted. And that was not happening. And I think that is like a huge thing with Cami is once I started using Cami in my classroom, they had to have those conversations because they couldn't just delete each other's work. They had to talk about the errors or this should go here or that's not correct because of this or I think this. And so that was just something that naturally happened where before it was like, delete. We're not even going to talk about that. And we're just going to move on. And then it was kind of like creating an unsafe space in my classroom because kids were like, well, why was that deleted? Does my opinion not matter? You know, and like those kind of feelings. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into instructional strategies, okay? And so this first activity is debatables. And I'm going to throw in another link into the chat for us because I want to be in control because I want to be the teacher. So sorry, Melissa. I'm going to take over and we're going to join this activity so we can actually kind of see some of these activities live and how we can maybe use these in the classroom. All right, so go ahead and hit editor. I am going to control the features. So again, showing that again right here, Jamboard, why I love it is because you only have certain tools. So again, I'm going to go in, turn them all off. And then I want the select tool and I just want the shape tool for this next activity. I'm going to hit OK. And now I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put it in the chat. And then if everyone could join, that would be fantastic. All right, so I'm going to give you guys just a second to join. There's the link if you need it. And if you're joining later, watching the recording, this link will still work. So join in, add your cell phone here. I know Melissa had another template. You can add it to that template or this one, whatever you want to do. But we're going to go to page number 4. So to find the page number, you're just going to look down in the right-hand corner, and you can either type 4 and it will take you straight there, or you can like scroll to page 4, whatever you prefer. And I want you to think about this question. Summer is better than winter. And using the tools that you have, what do you think?
What do we live in Texas? You just have every
Summer all year round.
It is summer all year round. Summer, let's see. I mean, Taylor Swift says it's a cruel summer, so I don't know.
Whatever Taylor says.
So let's see here.
All right, so again, we're on page 4. You're going to grab the shape tools, which is on the left-hand side. And I'm going to use a circle. And I am going to say I strongly agree because I live in Ohio. Winter is awful.
And we just want to see snow here in Texas. We've seen it once.
No.
Well, a few times growing up. But man, so it just seems so magical.
So again, looking at those control features, the teacher's screen, I've got all the tools. However, looking at my student screen, they just have that select so they can move that circle around. And they have the shape tool to add additional shapes, and they can change their colors. So again, I always go back to what is the instructional purpose? For this activity, I just want them to add a shape. It's a quick check-in. And then what I like to do is I can quickly see who has added their response and who maybe is absent for the day, right? Sometimes I'll even come in here and hit that share settings. So again, only the teacher can update the control features. And I'm going to turn every single thing back on. So now you have all of the tools again. Now I might even have my students go to add media and take a picture using the camera. And sometimes instead of the shape tool, I want to see their face. I am such a visual person that I want to see what they think using their face. And I can maybe even use different activities like that. I would even have them go to add media, camera, take a picture, and use it as a tracking tool so I knew which activities they were done with as well. So how did we get this activity to Cami, right? So again, we're kind of looking, this was a Jamboard activity that we kind of had. And so down here, if you're wanting to use this activity, it's on slide number 8. And all of the resources are at the top of this slide where it says slides. So if you're wanting to know more, you'll just go to that slide and you can use this template tomorrow in your classroom. However, I would just say you want to convert it because next October, Jamboard is gone. All right, so here I am. I've got this activity. It's in Jamboard. Because Melissa told me to get that extension, I have this option right here that says Cami. You need that extension in order for the Cami button to appear. Okay, so again, you'll want this extension. Here's the activity. It's in Jamboard. I don't need to go to the 3 dots, download it as a PDF. I don't need to make a copy. I don't need to do any of that. All I have to do is click this button with Cami. And now I can use this with my students tomorrow.
Nice. Save so much time by just clicking that button right there.
Yep. And you'll notice that this is just that one page for this activity. Okay. So let's go ahead and look at some other ways that we might use Cami in replacement of Jamboard. And I know we were kind of talking about Jamboard, but this next activity is one of my favorite activities. And I actually have it in Google Slides. So again, if you have that extension, all you have to do is click that Cami button. So a lot of times what I would do in Jamboard is I would make my slides right in Google Slides first, and then I would download them as a PNG and add them as the background on Jamboard. And honestly, it took a lot of time, right? I'm creating and then I'm going file download, file upload, and it was a lot of different clicks. So this one, again, I created it in Google Slides, but then I would take this and move it to Jamboard. And so what I did in Jamboard is then I could hit that Cami button, or you can skip that step and just do Cami right here with Google Slides. So it works with Google Documents, Google Slides, Google Sheets. I haven't really figured that one out yet, but it does work. So I would love to hear how people are using that because I'm just like, oh, Google Sheets and data. But again, if you have that extension, it will open straight up in Cami, and then there's that activity for my students. All I have to do is hit convert, Takes a few seconds to process, but it's a lot faster than me downloading each of those PNGs and adding them to Jamboard. So for this next activity, what I usually have my students do is they will use that add media. So again, one of the reasons I love Jamboard is because of the tools. Sometimes having all of these tools can be really overwhelming. So I can click that share document, and then I can go in and I can change just so the add media tool is being shared in that control feature. So when I'm looking at my document and I'm trying to go, oh my gosh, this is a lot for my students, I'm going to go in here, that share button, control features. I like to turn them all off. That's just my workflow. And then I turn on the tools that I want my students to have. So we're going to go here and we're going to do add media. Actually, I just want the camera. They don't need to record a video. And then I'm going to hit OK. So now that that is updated, you'll notice that when my students look at their screen, all of these tools are not there. They just have add media. So then they'll go here, and what happens with this activity, it's share and compare. So the students, and you can do this by classes, you could do this by groups, but what I would typically do is I would work on a math problem. So I taught math, and I would have the students show their work on paper or a whiteboard, take a picture, and then they would put it here. After that first step, I then went in, allowed a little bit more tools, because again, they're ready now for that next step. So I kind of was able to chunk that assignment for my students. So now when they went in, there's Melissa's nice little picture comparing my answer. I can go in, and now students can use the drawing tool, and they're able to circle what's similar. They're able to maybe highlight, using the markup tool, some differences that they notice within our steps. Students can also add voice and video to explain their thinking. I love what you did here, Melissa, but I got a different answer, and here's why. So if they're struggling to get their thoughts out via text, they can then use that audio tool to add additional reasoning as to why they think that. And again, there might not be a reason where I want them to use that audio feature. So I can use that control feature and I can turn that off. But I really love the ability to give my students some voice and choice when they're trying to explain their thoughts and make that extension happen. So that's just, again, one way where students are kind of going up, sharing their papers, sharing their math, and then they're looking at each other's work for the same problem. And then they're talking about strategies. I noticed that the teacher solved it this way. I noticed that class 1 or group 1 solved it this way. And they're able to make those comparisons with each other and a lot stronger. And then they're making an extension because now they're explaining the why. All right, this next one is a stick it together. So very similar to kind of the share and compare. But what happens is students have these 4 boxes, and they each get to think first by themselves. So I might do this box. And again, I love to use that add media tool. Take a picture, add it into their box so I know which box is each person's. I don't know. I'm just a visual person. I just love that. And so once I have that image, I then can have my students first think about this problem right here, this word problem. They add their thoughts, their ideas right in this box. And then after that timer, and you can add YouTube videos. So if I go into add media, YouTube, I can search YouTube for a 5-minute timer. And I can add that timer right into my Cami document. And then my students can begin to work. After the timer's up, they then maybe have 3 minutes to discuss with each other. I noticed that you did it this way. I noticed this. I see that. And then they come up with the best answer right here. So they take everyone's idea and create the best answer that they can think of when it comes to learning. And again, this was a Jamboard activity. And all I did was having to click that Cami button.
Nice. That you're making it really easy for everyone to use their Jamboard activities and just transfer them over to Cami. How easy is that?
Yeah, it's just a really quick click. And you got some Taylor Swift as well. So we did show you some collaborative activities, right? Like a lot of these activities are collaborative. However, I'm going to show Google Classroom real quick. And this works with any learning management system. But there are times where you did make a Jamboard individual, right? And so this is where we're going to give you a coupon code so that way you can do this as well. This is part of the premium version of Cami. And if I go into classwork, create, because I have that extension, I now have Cami assignments. It's like a magical little K that's purple out of all those options.
Because purple is the best color.
I know, it's so sparkly like Melissa. And so I'm going to click that. And I can assign this to my students. I'm going to click Google Drive. And again, I can search for Jamboard activities. Hopefully I have something in here. I've got to have something in my Google Drive, right? Here we go. Right here, this one. Oh, I've got an Avid one. Let's do that. Okay. We got this one. I think we're writing thank you notes to Avid. Who knows why? Got this. And it just looks just like you're assigning your other Google Classrooms. So I can come in, I can add a title. So this is called like thank you. I have those options. Everybody is a collaborator. We would share one copy. I can also make a copy for each student if I wanted them to individually add to this assignment. Or maybe I want my students to watch me demonstrate how to solve a math problem, and they can watch those annotations in real time. I'm going to make a copy though this time because again, sometimes in Jamboard, I wanted them all to have their own individual copy. You can go in, change your points, change your due date. You can add a topic if you need to. There's those control features again. They're just in a different location in Google Classroom. But I can click and I can turn them on or off depending on what my purpose is. Again, that copy and paste is right here. I don't want ChatGPT to write a thank you to Avid. I want a handwritten one from all my students, right? So I can turn that on or off. I'm now going to click this assign button. Once I click assign, you just need one student to open up the assignment. So I'm going to go over to my student account. They're going to go over to Google Classroom. And again, whatever learning management system you use, it works very similar. And if you're like, I don't understand, we're going to give you a booking link and you can sign up for it with one of us and get a one-on-one about how to use it with your learning management system as well. Okay, so here's that assignment. It says, thank you. We're going to open it with Cami. This was a Jamboard. I was like, I probably haven't opened this since COVID, so who knows what this looks like. So again, I've got thank you right here, and then I'm just going to kind of draw a star right there. What I love about this is before, when I had Jamboard, and I was looking at my students' work, I had to individually look at each one of their Jamboards. And it took a lot of time. But now with Google Classroom and Cami, I have class view. And so in class view, what I can do is I can see all of their Cami assignments at once.
Did you say at once? Like while they're
At once.
That is nice. That's going to save a lot of time.
Yeah, so this was the before. And this is the now after it loads. There we go. It's coming. So I like to come in here instead of 100. I usually make it smaller so I can see all of their screens.
Nice.
And I don't know if you were like me, but I always memorize like, okay, here's page 1's answers. Okay, now here's page 2's answers. And so now you can grade all of page 1 at the same time. I am an audio voice type of person, so I can come in here. Great work. Keep working hard. Please get started. Okay, come meet with me. Let's talk about this. Thank you now. And I can leave 3 voice comments really quickly to my students. They get it in real time. Students didn't need to click turn in. They get it right away, which is incredible because now with this practice activity, they can go in and make corrections. they're able to get feedback immediately to know what they need to do in order to make those corrections. This student that's really struggling, I can go into Add Media, YouTube, find a YouTube video on maybe writing a thank you note. We'll do this one. And then I go back, insert the video. There was an ad. There's no ad with Cami. Now just that student gets that YouTube video to help them. Maybe this student needs an extension. Maybe I can come in here and add a voice comment. Why don't you draw a picture? And I can have them explain more or draw a picture or do another task to extend their knowledge. So again, multiple ways to differentiate based on what the student needs and how I can support them as their own learner.
Nice. I really like that feature about Google Classroom, being able to see from a view of all the students working.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into this next great feature.
Oh, the Cami library. Who doesn't? Who loves templates?
I do.
Right.
So right here is the Cami library. And a lot of times when I was like trying to think about like what I should do, you can filter and search. So if you are an ELA teacher, you'll just click English, and then you can go here. Maybe you teach second grade. It's going to narrow down your search. You can also type in keywords as well. But I know for sure we've got Thanksgiving coming up. So I'm going to type in Thanksgiving. There's all of these different templates that you can use with your students immediately. They're free no matter if you have premium or if you have the free version of Cami. And you can download the PDF or you can open it straight in Cami and then assign those directions to your students. I always like to add video or voice first so my students could re-listen to the directions rather than me constantly pausing and explaining each direction.
Right.
So that's what's nice about Cami is that video and the audio, and I can do a screen capture to really explain to the students. So I can go right here and let's see, we're on this screen and I can explain, okay, if you need support counting, you can go right here to the drawing tool and we can add just like quick little tally marks to help us count that there are how many pies? 1, 2, 3. All right, go ahead and do the next one and then come see me when you're finished. And if you're good, you can do the rest by yourself.
Oh my goodness. Is there a pie, just one pie? Like I better not finish even one pie. With Thanksgiving coming up soon.
Yeah, so I can leave video directions for my students to explain concepts to them before I send this to them, which is really exciting. Any other things that you love about the Cami library?
Oh gosh, that you can create folders. You can go through and start organizing your information.
Yes.
Because we always find one like on the fly and we're like, oh my gosh, where'd that template go? So you can create folders to keep those organized.
So right here, add collections. If there's like something that you use all the time or you want to name it something with your curriculum. Another feature that I just found out about, these two cute little templates, I put in a request for those. Aren't they so cute? They're snowman. So if you have a virtual day, this could be a great activity for your students or just a fun way for them to build their snowman. And then they write a description about it or tell a story about it or a podcast episode about their snowman.
Nice.
If you have an idea, right here, share a template idea or feedback and they listen. So again, I was just like, hey, I have this idea of I want this snowman idea created on Cami. It was for a school in New York that they helped me kind of were like brainstorming this. And so if you have an idea, share it. We've got a team of amazing designers ready to help support you along the way.
Perfect. I like that because I know there's a lot of great ideas out there.
Yeah.
I love that. I was making a list of all the things. I was like trying to go through my list of like, okay, I haven't used this feature in a while or at all. And I definitely want to use that. And I'm wondering, so, back in the classroom. I'm a special education teacher, so I differentiate a lot, right?
Mhm.
So I'm trying to think now. I love the control features, right, where I can turn things on and off. And I want to give some more controls to some students and maybe fewer controls to some others. And I'm wondering, I know the document creates one link. Would I have to make 2 copies of kind of the same document and do my controls that way?
Yeah, so I would go and do this in your learning management system.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do it, create a Kami assignment. And I would assign it to certain students.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and change the control features there.
Mm-hmm. And then I would make another assignment and add those students.
Yeah, that's so much easier than going into Kami itself and doing it there and then sharing those 2 links, because I'm sure we're all very comfortable in our own learning management systems. And that I saw that. I was like, I'm definitely going to ask if I can change the all students to my student groups at the end of this, because I really like that. And you said, now this is something I haven't done and had no idea about. You said like I can control the features like in the middle of the lesson even.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have video now or Google image search, but we're going to bring that in where that's appropriate. And I think that's huge.
Yeah, it's great because you always start a lesson, but you don't want to give your tools all at once, because you know what's going to happen. Students are going to start working because they have the tool. Oh, I know what she wants me to do. Let me just do it while she's talking.
Yeah.
So yes, I love that.
Yeah, that was something totally new to me that I was like, and this is going to change something for tomorrow. So I love that.
I think a quick also note, because a lot of times with Jamboard, I would send something out and then I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot to add that video. And so right here, we have class view, which is everyone can, get their own feedback. But if I know that every student is missing number 3, there's this update work. And I can come in and I can go, uh-oh, I forgot to explain number 3 and I'm getting all these questions. I can come in and add a YouTube video, add an audio comment, and it goes out to every single student when I click publish changes.
Mm-hmm. That's really nice, because we never make mistakes, right? We never forget.
Never. It's always for that.
But in case you do.
Yeah. So I can say like, listen to the directions or reread or whatever, or I maybe need to read the article to my students. And so I just have to, again, hit publish changes and it goes out to all of them at the same time.
So I love that. And also I'm thinking, a lot of times in my classes, like I build on a Google slide deck and, there are extensions if I use just a slide and I don't use something like Kami with my slides. There are extensions where I can like push updates, but it's just another step that I don't have to do here, that they've already like thought about that. And it's just part of the feature itself and the tool itself. So that's amazing.
And Tara in the chat, she had something else. I don't know if you guys are overwhelmed because we did a lot today, but yes, split and merge is fantastic. So right here is split and merge. Yeah, I just was at I just went to Kami.app and then I go to split and merge. I'm going to go here on my desktop because I know I have a ton of documents in this folder. I want to combine these 2 PDFs. So right now they're separate documents. I want to put them together. So I'm going to add both of those files, hit the next button, and I can come in here and add and mix both of those resources together. What Tara was talking about is I can say this is group 1, duplicate, and make this group 2, and this group 3. And then I can say, oh, group 1 does not need, or group 3 doesn't need these.
Mm-hmm.
Group 2 doesn't need this, but they definitely need this scaffold. And I can customize these resources and then I can export them and straight go to Kami. And so now I've done a high, middle, low where I've added additional resources in and I maybe created some extensions for other groups. But if you're like, what just happened? Book a time with us. We're more than happy to walk through any of the features that we talked about today. or even just to brainstorm with you if you're like, I have this idea, but I don't know how to make it with Cami.
Perfect. And we did this all the time with those STAR tests and all kinds of assessments where just imagine you're at the copy machine and you're pulling it apart. Well, you're doing it digitally now for your students.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Again, something new I haven't seen, because I think like with all software, why I love these, like coming to you guys who are the experts and who can like quickly answer questions and know how to use it. Like I get stuck in my own rut of using technology like a tool the same way, which is great because then I get good at it and kids get good at it. But we want to like always make sure we're making a next step, or we're not missing out. Like in an accessibility feature or a way to use something for collaboration that we haven't thought about before. So I would definitely, I mean, this is my own like personal tutoring session here. The fact that you guys open yourselves up and your calendars up for anyone, Melissa and Stephanie are both so knowledgeable and so great and happy to answer any question.
Yeah. So Stephanie, why don't you show everybody where they could pick any one of our teacher success champions, where it goes to a Calendly. Will be teamed up with a teacher success champion.
Okay, so there's multiple ways, but this is probably the easiest. So if you're in Cami, you can click this help button, book free training. So the little question mark, help, book free training.
Book free training.
Once you do that, it's going to open up this page. You let us know where you're located. I'm going to say United States. And then you can decide. Maybe you only have 15 minutes because you need to use the restroom and you need to drop your students off at lunch and you need to eat lunch. So you're like, I only have 15 minutes, but I need help. Right there's an option for you. Once you click that, you can decide the day and what time works best for you. Or maybe you're like, I am going to be during my planning time in the morning, so I have 30 minutes. Again, you click your amount of time, and then you find right here what time you want to book for. And if that time doesn't work, just go to the next day. If you really don't see something, just email one of us, and we can probably find someone who can flex their schedule for that day to support you. But there's a lot of time available.
Now, do I have to have like a district membership in order to get help from you guys?
No.
Amazing.
No. Yeah. Yes, lots of resources. Also, when it comes to Jamboard, these were just some templates that are in our Cami library. So again, here's that Cami library. These, if you click on the images in the slides, you'll be directed right to that Cami library to use. But this was just some ideas that I had when I was like, how did I use Jamboard? And this is how. And so I used it for timelines, graphic organizers, interactive, concept mappings, just like we did with the cell phone. And we showed our age today. With math, I did a lot of things with math. Agree and disagree, social emotional, brain breaks. So all of these resources are hyperlinked if you're like, oh, I love that idea. Or again, you can search that Cami library.
Well, thank you both for sharing this. Like I say, people think I'm joking when I say like I made a list, but no, like that's my notepad of things, because I'm like I'm gonna remember it once I see it, but I need to make my list of like how I want to use this. So my brain is full of new ways. So thank you for sharing all of this to us.
Yes, you're welcome. And we talked about split and merge, but again, here it is if you need it. And then again, open with Cami. Okay. Here's that coupon code. So if you want to try out the premium version of Cami for 60 days, we're going to throw that link into the chat. And then if you're interested in learning more about Cami, feel free again to just reach out to our team and we'll get you connected with the right people. And then also, please leave us feedback. So right here is our feedback form. Whose name should they pick, Melissa? Or should we just have them randomly select?
Oh, between you and I guess they can choose either one.
Yes, you can choose either one, either Melissa or Stephanie.
And we'll share with each other.
You'll go here, you'll type your name, email.
If it was a good session, you could pick me. If you didn't like the session, you could pick Stephanie. That's what my friend Courtney used to always say. It was fun.
This one is, where is it? I think it was something with Jamboard. Maybe it's not on here. Just
Tammy 101 sounds good to me.
101. Again, pick Stephanie or Melissa, and then leave us some feedback. And then you'll get a certificate of attendance as well. But this helps us grow as a presenter and to kind of know too, what support do you need as educators? All right. Thank you so much for joining us. And Erin, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Well.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'm going to put that training feedback in the chat right now. And then, all right, share that with everyone. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.